Hey, it's Ben here. In this training video, we're going to go over how to get a great email delivery rate and what autoresponders or broadcasters you should be using to get that. We're also going to be going over some basic things that you should be doing today to make sure you get your emails inboxed, and some tips as well on what you should actually write today in the email. So this is going to be great, especially for those in affiliate marketing, because this is one of the most asked questions these days is, it doesn't seem like my delivery rate is that good. How do I improve it? What autoresponder should I use? Is Aweber good? Is MailChimp good now? What should I use to actually get people to read my emails? Because the big thing with email marketing now is that people just aren't making it to the the inbox. There's so many emails. There's so much spam. I think that actually most of the email, 80% of the email or something today sent is spam. That's pretty crazy. But you can tell that ISPs, things like Gmail, Yahoo, they're taking extreme steps to vet spam, and if you're not meeting all these requirements, it's just they're not going to allow you to even get in the inbox, let alone put you even in the spam folder. Most of the email that's sent doesn't even make it to the spam folder, if you can believe that. So it's getting a lot harder, especially if you do affiliate marketing, or even if you're not doing affiliate marketing that much, but maybe you want to send a couple affiliate marketing emails here and there throughout the month. It's really difficult, because not only are Gmail and these people, they're basically filtering out all these affiliate marketing emails. Not only doing that, but a lot of the providers now, like Aweber, they're just straight out banning people who want to do affiliate marketing. Even if you're doing ethical reviews, you're doing pros and cons, you're trying to make sure that people fully understand what they're going to invest in, they still will just straight out ban you. They won't even give you your list back sometimes. Yeah, that's been happening. So first, we have to go over a little bit of information before I show you what I'm using and what I'd recommend you use. First, you have to choose the right IP. This is what the email is getting set from, IP address. You can either use a shared IP address or a dedicated IP address. Mostly everyone watching this video right now is using a shared IP address, meaning that there's other people who are sending emails from that same IP address that you're sending. So that means that someone could be sending a trash email, affiliate email, something that there's not even an unsubscribe link, and it's looking like it's you who's sending it because it's the same IP address, and that's what's killing a lot of emails these days. But there are some reasons you should use a shared IP address instead of a dedicated one where it's just you, and that's good if you're not really sending that many emails a month. If you're sending 50,000 or less, it's probably good to have a shared IP address from a reputable company. Because if you just use a dedicated IP address, you're not gonna be inboxing that much, and then some of the the providers like Gmail or Yahoo, they might not know who your IP address is, their reputation, and then they won't allow the emails to come in. But if you're going to be sending, you're really focused on building your email list. You want to start getting to the point where you're sending 50,000 per month, which isn't that much if you actually think about it. You're emailing every 3 days or something like that. Then you need to get a dedicated IP address where you're in control of your destiny, so to speak. You determine your delivery rate, your reputation with these these emails, Yahoo, Gmail, Hotmail, etc. And you're not reliant on someone else. You're not getting penalized because someone else isn't following the rules and spamming, and now you're getting docked. You also have to set up authentication, so whenever the email gets sent from your domain, Gmail can accurately see that it is indeed you who is sending that. And you need something called SPF, Sender Policy Framework. And basically this cross-checks the mail from line against the publish record that the sender has registered in domains in DNS. And all this means is instead of sending something and it says send via aweber.com, but the email you're sending from, the domain is Virtual Pioneer, that doesn't look too good, because why are you have to email from Aweber? So what you want to do is from ben@virtualpioneer.com, and then it's going to cross check sent from virtualpioneer.com from the mail line. You also want to install something called DKIM, or Domain Keys Identified Mail, and basically this just authenticates that an email was sent from a legitimate source, that you're not some spammer or a third party person. You're a real business who's been in business. You're a legitimate source, and the people want to get your emails. You also want to send via TLS, or make sure you set this up. And all this does is encrypt your email making sure that no one's intercepting your emails. This is just a secure way of doing it. So it's kind of like having HTTPS on your site versus just HTTP. The HTTPS is better. Also, potentially you might also have DMARC, integrated domain-based messaging authentication reporting and conformance. And this is just a standard method of authenticating the SPF and DKIM altogether. So it's optional, and it will ensure your authentication results are consistent across the ISPs and all the inbox providers. So all this stuff here is making sure that whenever the email comes, that it's authenticated and they know it's from you and everything lines up. Now, there's a lot of providers like Aweber, MailChimp. They're not providing all these tools. There is some ways that you can ask them, and you can get your SPF set up. Even in something like ConvertKit, you have to contact them to make sure you get this set up correctly. Where if you just use it, it's going to say sent on behalf of ConvertKit, and that's going to lower your email delivery. Set up feedback loops. Now, here's just a quick picture of what I mean. Meaning that you send an email to the recipient. Your person, say they want to mark it as spam. Now, the inbox provider notifies the sender, and then the sender, you need to get them off because they think that you're spam. And if you don't have this set up, then you could keep sending it. You're just going to keep getting a bigger spam rate, and eventually you won't land any emails at all. So make sure you have feedback loops set up separately for each inbox provider, meaning you have one for Yahoo, one for Gmail. Now, if you use something like Aweber, they automatically have this stuff installed, so you can see it and adjust. But if you're doing like the self-hosted thing, there's some self-hosted things that they don't really come up with. They don't have the right feedback loops. You need to make sure you have those installed. Now, also, you need to make sure you're doing list cleansing today. Very important. There's something called recycled spam traps out there, and these are emails that maybe you uploaded, maybe they bought your product even once, but they don't use that email anymore. Yahoo took it away from them because there's just no activity, and now it's owned by a spam trap operator, and they're watching to see if you just keep blasting that same email even though they're not opening it, and they're going to ding your reputation. There's also something called pristine spam traps now everywhere, and this is to catch basically people who are spammers. So if you want to upload someone's list without their permission, or you want to scrape emails from somewhere, there's a lot of sites now, they're putting companies are putting something called pristine spam traps, where it's just an email out there to see. They're never going to opt into anything. It's just to see if you are going to scrape it and then upload it and then email it, and then you're going to be in big trouble. And avoid sending those who are no longer interested. And this is pretty big to improve your deliverability. Is ISPs, they're going to see the people who are not interested in opening your email, and the more people that is, the more that they feel like maybe your emails or maybe your business is just sending stuff to people who aren't interested, and that's not a good sign. So you need to avoid, or at least put these people in like tag them differently to make sure that you're not sending to the people who aren't interested right now in hearing from you, or that's going to hurt your reputation even more. You need to delete bounces, especially hard bounces, and make it easy to unsubscribe. There should be an unsubscribe link right in the header. It's more about improving your reputation now than it is, a couple years ago it was just try to get as many emails as you can, and now I'm recommending to use things like double opt-in, and making it easy for them to unsubscribe if they want out, because it's more important to make sure that you have a good deliverability to the people who do want to hear from you than trying to get as many email addresses, blasting them, and then your reputation gets hurt among these ISPs and providers, and then your delivery keeps going down and down and down. Then, of course, you want to set expectations in your welcome email. How often will they hear from you? If you blast them every single day and they don't want that, then they're going to mark you as spam. But if you don't email them at all, maybe 2 to 3 times a month, it's worse because they forget who you are, and then they do mark you as spam. So you need to set expectations, and then do I would recommend emailing emailing twice a week or 3 times a week. Now, if you're going to import a list, or maybe you're worried that there's some hard bounces on that list, like maybe it's customers who bought your product, you can clean the list with something called Never Bounce, and this is going to go through and actually delete a lot of the emails that were payments So if a bunch of people bought your product, but you're unable to integrate your autoresponder for them to opt in, you can clean it, and then it will delete the people who bought. Maybe they just use like their PayPal email and they don't check it. So that's a good way to improve deliverability. All right, so let's get into now what I recommend, what's working best now. Now, for those people who they want to do affiliate marketing at some point, if you're brand new and you don't really have a big email list, or maybe you're just starting to build it, I recommend one called Market Hero. Now, this is new. They aren't perfect. Here's what they look like. And this now this does not allow you to have a dedicated IP address, which we went over, which is important. But if you're just brand new, you're starting out, and you only have like 100 subscribers, then you probably need that dedicated IP address. And they do have something that allows you to integrate your SPF, which is going to improve deliverability over other places. And the reason why I recommend them is because they're okay with affiliate marketers, as long as you're straight out not spamming people or uploading a list illegally. Now, other places like Drip, ConvertKit, even Aweber, these days, even if you're not being hypey in your email, you're outlining the bad and good of a product, you're doing a detailed review, they still could just ban you, because I've tried them myself. I've done stuff where I've emailed to like a post where it was just a full review of the product, and just because it had the same keyword as like another spammy guy who was on their system was using, they just straight out banned me, and they won't even give me like a reason to why they did it. They just said, or if you're just doing reviews of products, maybe there's not going to be a bigger deliverability. There won't be as big as open rate, I should say. So like instead of just saying, oh, hey, check this out, it's going to get a big open rate because it's just a generic email. If you just say, hey, here's a review of this new product coming out, obviously there's not going to be a lot of people interested, but there is going to be some people who want to see your review and potentially buy from it. That's going to be like a lower open rate. And some places like ConvertKit, they want you to have an open rate over 40%. Now, it doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know why. Like if you're just going to use this generic headline, and you're going to just be sending them to a piece of content anyway, isn't your review content? It doesn't really make sense to me, but they weren't happy with that, and they said I needed to go somewhere else because they don't really like affiliate marketers in general. So that's why I'm recommending them. Now, if you're going to be sending over 50K emails or more, I'm using something called Interspire. So let me show you real quick what Market Hero does since I have this up. Now, the reason this is cool, and I'm going to get into more of this in a second here. But they have something called streams that you can create, and these are ways that people, basically all the tools are here. You can tag different people and then send just specific emails out to the people who are tagged. You can exclude people who are tagged. You can set up these what they call streams, where you can track the average lifetime customer value of people who opted in your list. Now, I'm going to show that in a second here, but let me get on to Interspire. And what this is going to do, this is where you can buy it. This is a self-hosted platform. Now, all these ones that we've been going over, like Market Hero, these are cloud-based, meaning that another company is going to have control over your email destiny, so to speak. They can just ban you at will. Now, with Interspire, no one can ever ban you because it's a self-hosted solution, meaning that you install this on your domain, and then no one can tell you who to upload. No one can tell you what you're going to send out. It's all up to you. And it's about $500, but it's a one-time payment, unlike Market Hero, where you have to pay every month, unlike Aweber, which you have to pay every month. So maybe it's not right for some people who are just starting. Now, here is what it looks like on the inside. It's not quite as advanced as Drip or Market Hero. You can't do the tagging. You can't see your average lifetime customer value and things like that. But all the basic things are here, like adding a contact, exporting, removing contacts, creating your lists, creating opt-in forms. You can create templates. You can create email campaigns and send them. There's something called email throttling, where you can just send to a certain number of people per hour, especially good if you're warming up a new IP address. And now what you want to do is go to settings here, and then you want to go to email settings, and then what you want to do here is enter your mail server details. So what you have to do is Interspire isn't going to send the emails for you. It's just the software that's hosted, but you need to use a sending provider whether that's your own settings here, your own server that you buy and set up to send, and it needs to be like a dedicated server, or something a little bit easier, but it still gives you full control, like SendGrid, or a way for you to specify your own SMTP server details. So now I'm using SendGrid to send in a combination with Interspire, but not just SendGrid alone. Now what I bought is the SendGrid Pro, or the upgrade, and with the upgrade it's more expensive, but you get that dedicated IP address. So here's my SendGrid account. I'm not really sending emails from here. This is just to use to I'm not like creating marketing campaigns, so to speak, where I'm creating a broadcast and sending it out inside. This is just to send the emails. The service is actually going to do the sending. Well, Interspire, this is just the service that creates the campaigns and organizes the contacts into different lists and things like that. Now, I don't recommend SendGrid, they do have this built-in what they call their marketing campaigns now, where it's just like Interspire, or it's just like Aweber, and you can upload your contacts, view your templates, send emails within them, and it will use this exact same thing to send it. Now, I don't recommend that because, again, for some reason, SendGrid, if they see that you're doing affiliate marketing, there's just such a bad reputation with affiliate marketers now. Even with just one email, they can shut down your account and take away your list from you, and not even allow you to get your list back. But if you just use them as a provider, they don't really know what you're sending. As long as you have a good reputation, you're taking care of deleting the bounces, you're deleting the people who marked you as spam, you're providing good value, then they don't really care because it's all good. And so not only do you have to get the dedicated IP address, you need to go down here to settings, and you want to set up something called white label. So this is going to go back to what we talked about here with setting up the authentication. So yeah, it's going to be a dedicated IP address that SendGrid provides, but you can do something called white labeling, where it's going to show the inboxes that is from your domain. So you use their dedicated IP so they can track everything, but you integrate the white label, which are all these things, so it's authenticated, saying that you're doing it. And then there's like some steps to go through to make sure that you've validated your white label, and then it's going to put a white label, or put your branding or your domain and your SPF and everything over theirs, because they just give you a dedicated IP. So if you were to upgrade to SendGrid Pro, but you didn't do this white labeling thing, then you're not really doing everything we went over correctly. Your SPF record wouldn't be right, because it would say mailed from SendGrid, but it would be your domain name. So that would ding your deliverability. But if you do this extra step here, which is free, if you buy the SendGrid Pro, then you'll be good. And then if you want to, depending on how many emails you send, I have one where it's 300K, but I'm using that up really fast. It's just sent 30,000 today. You'll need to continue to upgrade more and more. Now you can go to Interspire, and if you really want, you're a technical guy and you code software and stuff, you can buy your very own dedicated domain and IP address, and then just do that and just use that settings. But the reason I'm using SendGrid, I'm not as technically advanced, and they give you some good things like the stats. And one of the most important things that Interspire doesn't let you do is it can give you some information on who's not opening the email. So I can go in, export the addresses that haven't opened in like 6 months, go into Interspire, contacts, and then suppress them or just delete them. And that's going to improve my deliverability even more, because now I'm weeding out the people who don't want to hear from me. And whenever I send it, then I'm getting a lot, like a 40% open rate or 30% open rate, where I'm just sending to people who want to hear from me and they're opening the email. And that looks really good for Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, and they're going to make sure to inbox my stuff correctly. Now, one more thing, I want to go back over the Market Hero. Now, if you're using Shopify, you're using like a e-commerce store, I'd recommend one called Drip, which is really good, or the same Market Hero one. I probably prefer Drip because they have a little bit more money invested into it, and there's like a big team. It's now owned by Lead Pages. Market Hero, it just kind of seems like it's a couple guys. There's some bugs and stuff, but also it definitely work good. And the reason I recommend those, let's go back to this one, is because you can create these different streams where you can actually go in here and assign products and the average value, whoever buys, and then you can go into these different streams here, and you can create, like for example, you can have an opt-in stream. A tag gets a place to this. So say someone opts into your Shopify site to get a coupon, then you can have an email. Then if they buy, you can have them go on another sequence like this one. But if they didn't buy, now I'm not going to go through. I think you have to delete that. But anyway, there's some ways that you can drag and drop where this is going to go and apply like your whole email funnel. So say for example, someone opted into your Shopify, but they didn't buy. You can have them go to one email sequence where it's content getting them to buy. But say they did buy, you want to have them go to another email sequence where it's to buy an OTO, and they get tagged differently because in Market Hero and in Drip as well, you can specify specific tags. There's not really like groups of lists. It's more advanced now where you can tag people, and then you can, for example, we can add this tag, and these people are gonna receive it because they have a specific tag. But then also we can, tag people who do not have, or send an email to people who don't have this tag. So we're sending it to all these people, for example, who opted in for our Shopify coupon. But then these people who bought this product and they already went through our sequence, we can make sure not to send it to them so they don't unsubscribe or get upset or stop engaging with their brand. We just send it to the people that we want the broadcast. And then of course you can create these streams where it's just all automated and it does an autopilot. So that's what I'd recommend if you're into e-commerce and you want to get into the email marketing with that, is to use either Market Hero or Drip. Now the deliverability, it's not as good, but it's more about the automation in my opinion. Now if you're a high company or a corporation who's watching this, you don't really want to do Interspire because it's a little bit clunky. You can do one called Maropost. This is the best one overall, but it's also the most expensive. They give the best deliverability. They're doing everything we went over. There's ways to segment and tag people with automation. It is cloud-based, but and it is the most expensive. It's more for like commercial people like Mercedes-Benz. Then, of course, you want to monitor your reputation. A good company to do this is. Also, you just do that yourself. Log in and check your stats, delete the bounces if you haven't. But you can use something called, here it is. You can use something called Sender Score to check out some ways to improve. If you have a low sender score, a high sender score, this is from Return Path. And then you can also use their service where it's a reputation monitor, where they're going to help you improve your deliverability, monitor your reputation, and try to fix things if for some reason you end up on a blacklisted site or you fall for a spam trap or something like that, to help improve your deliverability. And then one last thing, when writing the emails, you don't have to get too worried about this. Just remember AIDCA. You've probably heard this before, AIDCA, where it's just attention, interest, desire, conviction, action. And every time I write an email, whether it's an autoresponder follow-up, a broadcast, all you have to do is just remember this acronym. So first, you want to start your email with getting their attention. I just have a quick example here where, hey, I just reviewed a new software that can potentially double the leads you get from YouTube. Something that's going to get their attention and get them to want to keep reading. Then you want to go into interest, or the big benefit this provides, or the big thing it solves. So this is going to allow you to target more relevant videos to advertise on with YouTube pay-per-click in a brand new way. Then we're going to build on the desire of what this new software I was talking about does. Some benefits that make it different from past solutions are X. Conviction, hey, you can check out several case studies of how brand new users are using this, and there's people who've actually had success. And then finally, action. Go click here now to check out the full review, and it's available for a limited time sale. Now we can go on in more detail, but whenever you're writing these emails and stuff, either you don't have to get it too complicated. You don't have to use fancy arrows. You don't have to use hypey subjects or anything like that. Just make it simple, like you are sending an email to a friend to check out something, and all you have to do is follow this basic format here, and then you'll be fine. It doesn't really matter. Like, you're not going to get an extra boost because you use a bold link instead of a regular link, or you embedded the link within, the sentence. None of that stuff really matters in the long term. just think about if you were sending an email to a friend, what you would say. Don't act like some weird company trying to sell them something. Just something that you want to share that's cool, and then you should be fine. So hopefully this video tutorial helped you. You have a better understanding of what to do now to go forward to get a better delivery rate, the things you need to be checking. And if you don't want to use the Interspire plus SendGrid white label, maybe it's too expensive, you can check out either some of the other ones I recommended like Drip or Market Hero. You're not going to get quite as good as a Reputation, but they're good. These are good companies to start out if you're brand new. So thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you again.